So Logic's officially out of retirement and he's back with Bobby Tarantino 3, the third installment in the Bobby Tarantino mixtape series. And honestly, this is the most fun that I've had listening to a project all year. And it might be the album of the year, and I'll tell you guys why in a bit. But let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we hope you guys enjoy the review. And once again, we'll be doing the biggest album reviews of the entire year, covering the biggest drops in hip-hop.
Absolutely. And guys, listen, we review albums a bit differently here at NFR. So we have our own custom criteria. We go through artist performance, we go through content, the features, the production, and instant replay value, in which we just talk about the replay value and how the album is going to stick with us throughout the year. Not only that, but our grading system is a bit different. So we go on a scale from bad, mid, good, amazing, and then perfect. So let's dive into this, man. This was a surprise drop for me because, to be honest with you, man, like I didn't expect much out of it, and I don't really know what to say. I didn't get anything out of it at all, actually.
Man, it's just like, this was a train wreck, and it was a blast to witness from start to finish. And obviously I was trolling about this being an album of the year contender. It's probably the worst project I've heard all year, but I have to say, like, Logic ended up giving me like an enjoyable experience, because sometimes it's just fun to witness something go so terribly wrong. And that's kind of what I got out of this. I mean, it starts off with the intro, which is called Intro 2, where he's literally trolling. He's saying stuff like, okay, I'm ready, I'm about to start off. Like, he's prepping you up to, about to have a crazy verse, and then there's nothing. And that's perfectly sets the tone, because these 12 songs are pure emptiness.
It's tough because you expect different from a rapper like Logic. And I started listening to Logic all the way back in the Young Sinatra series. And, I always loved his, intricate rhyme play. And I've always loved, his exquisite storytelling, let's say on The Incredible True Story and other projects. Just like with this, it was a bad attempt. And I think that's where we're going to have to start with, the artist's performance. It's just Logic himself. Like, I literally got nothing out of this. I have to tell, like, the writing was just, there was nothing. I don't even know what to say.
I genuinely think that he's trolling us with this project, and it's kind of maybe a fuck you to Def Jam, because there were some issues where they weren't paying some of the artists that he was collaborating with. So I feel like this is kind of, him pointing a giant middle finger their way. And honestly, it was a fun project to listen to in terms of his performance. It's a lot of emptiness. It's, flows that have been recycled, and he tries singing at certain times on songs like Call Me. Doesn't really work out too well. Apart from that, I mean, there was one song, I think it was Space Cowboy. Let me just check that out. Yeah.
And
See You Space Cowboy, where honestly, he is rapping pretty well. That's one track where you had this very quick timed flow, and it worked out pretty decently. But in terms of the bars, I mean, nothing hit, nothing landed, right?
Absolutely. And it was just like, I tried, like, you even catch him like trying to bite a couple of styles, like Don't Tell Me God My Judge, doesn't sound like I Believe in My Feelings by Drake. Like, the way that song starts off, it sounds exactly the same. And like, that's where I was just like, okay, I kind of understand where he's going with this. There's nothing to it at all. And then, what kind of like made me understand the whole concept of the album was with the skit Stupid. I was just like, okay, I kind of understand where this album's at, and what kind of project we're gonna get. And just, I feel as if what sucks from, like, let's say a Logic fan like me, well, at least I was after this point, like, you're coming back on an iconic like mixtape series, okay? Like this has the name Bobby Tarantino 3 on it, and when your fans are gonna go through it, it's going to be pure emptiness. I'm sorry. Like, you could be the biggest stan of Logic. This is fucking horrible.
And it's like, crazy because this is coming off of No Pressure, which is one of the best projects of his entire career. But, I mean, honestly, you sound like you really got no excitement or enjoyment out of it at all. But I'm on the complete other, like spectrum for this, because I really had a good time with it, just laughing along, because like you said, on that Stupid skit, I mean, he's doing two voices, one of a woman getting robbed and the other one of a guy robbing her. And like, he's doing these pew pew sounds of like shooting the woman. And it's one big fucking troll. And that's what people have to realize, that Logic wasn't taking himself seriously. So how could you even take him seriously with this?
Well, that's, I think, well, fuck it. We're going to give the artist performance bad at this point. Like, what is there really to salvage out of this album as far as Logic goes? Like, the whole album is featuring him, and the whole album is, whatever. We'll get to it at the end with the overall rating. But let's actually get in to the content, because again, this is a fucking shocker, especially for like, corny bars and like that level. So Lou, listen, I know you were there with your computer, like taking down these bars. So why don't you read through a couple of those?
Yeah, I'll read through one of the bars that you noticed actually. So Addiction's like a mud bath without a bar of soap. In other words, it's impossible to stay clean.
That's
That was on Call Me. And if that's not cringeworthy, I don't really know what is.
All right, what do we got? Second up at the plate. Let's see what we got going on.
I mean, but speaking on that song, which is Call Me, it's really, embarrassing to me that he's already recycling song concepts, because Call Me, on that song cover, you have like the phone number like to his own line. And that's the same song concept on the 1-800 song off of Everybody, where that was a suicide hotline. But he's still just using that same concept, twisting it another way. But it just shows laziness to me. And it's like, why even do that? 4 years later? Be original with your shit, man. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
And this is all coming off of No Pressure, which had such exquisite, content matter, where he was talking about his come up and how, he had to really come out of some dark times, and how he delivered an album under pressure, and came out with no pressure, no pun intended there. But just like, there's nothing as far as writing goes. The only sort of good writing that I got was actually on Inside, where he starts talking a bit more about his mental health issues, and where he talks about an incident that happened in Pittsburgh. So that was the only sort of good writing that I got out of that. Other than that, like from 1 to 12,
honestly, if I have to hear another song about like how much he loves his wife and his son, I mean, it's literally on every song, man. Like I'm happy that he's happy, but like we got all that on No Pressure. I don't have to be reminded on every song. It was just too much.
Like, it's always nice to bring your family content into it. It's just like when you're introducing new concepts, like, be refreshing with your content. It felt like a copy paste from No Pressure, like that had like that same sort of systematic, like sort of smile that he has to him. Like
he just didn't care, man.
Yeah, it felt really lazy, and I think that's why the content is so bad on this album.
Yeah, and then I believe it's on the song Space Cowboy. He kind of has that outro where he's speaking to us, and he does say that after Bobby Tarantino 3, he has one more album on Def Jam, then he's independent. So I guess at that point, that's when we'll be getting Ultra 85 or whatever else he has in store. But that just means that we could be in for another shit show with the next album. So where are your stance on that? Like, do you think that he's going to put out another like bad album just to troll the label? And do you think that it's kind of disservicing the fans?
It is disservicing the fans, because he's known for putting out great projects. Like, Logic has a lot of good projects out there. Like, again, he has a fantastic mixtape catalog. He has a great studio album in The Incredible True Story. He came back and delivered another great album last year with No Pressure. And now it's just like, you're really going to come out of retirement to deliver mediocre content, or let's say content that could be recycled by anyone. Not only that, but as far as innovation goes, even if you want to talk about his sound, what is he really doing? There's nothing there.
There's no artist development, right?
Not even on that level. Like, I don't even fucking expect Logic to like continuously like evolutionize his artistry. Like, I don't care about that. For me, it's just when I'm going into a track list, like it almost feels insulting, like going through it and like you're trolling me. Like, I'm taking time out of my day to listen to your music, and what I'm getting is a bunch of pop attempts that feel super empty and that have no meaning at all. Like that hurts me as a fan, because I fucked with No Pressure so much. Like, I bought into that whole retirement thing. Like, I enjoyed that whole narrative to a point where it inspired me. And then a year later, you come back and deliver something like this. Like, I understand it may be label issues, but it's a big disservice to the fans, especially for the cult following he has on his mixtapes.
And then God Might Judge is just like 6 minutes of wasted time where he's talking about like
absolutely
piping
nothing,
this girl and just a bunch of bullshit pretty much. So for that reason, we'll have to give it a bad rating. But I mean, if you want to have a good time, you can go look at all the cringy bars on Genius. It's pretty funny. But let's move on now to the production, mostly handled by Six. And honestly, if you compare this to No Pressure, it's night and day. But I mean, the beats just seemed bland. I mean, there were definitely some pop elements involved, but overall, nothing really landed. You had your average trap drums, but nothing that really motivated me or really inspired me,
Yeah, I didn't necessarily even understand the direction of the album as far as production goes. There was so many different types of productions that I just like, at some point you were getting like soul samples, then at some points like you were getting like R&B vibes, and then you were getting maybe some like, older Logic mixtape sort of beats where it was more boom bap. Like, that's where I was just kind of confused with the whole direction of the album, especially when it came to the production, because
the sound seemed all over the place sonically,
like,
right?
It was so misleading. Like, I didn't know where the project was going, and then you get to the 12th track and you're like, oh, I still don't know where I'm at with this, so where am I really gonna go? But it's, when you go through this production, it's not that the quality of the beats are bad, it's just what does it do for the project at the end of the day?
Yeah, it just seems out of place. I think one standout for me was Inside, where the 808s clapped pretty hard for me. I liked the kind of the flute melody that was playing in the back. Apart from that, I mean, on the song Get Up, you had some nice guitar strings, but like you were saying, cohesively, it just sounded all over the place. And I do get that it's a Bobby Tarantino mixtape, so there is no real theme to the project. It's kind of just a bunch of loose songs compiled together and Logic having fun. But even for that and for what that is, it didn't do its job, man. It was weak overall. Let's give this a mid rating.
Yeah, it's definitely a mid rating. Like, you're not gonna get, it's not good production. Like, good production would allow you to go through this track list, have fun with it, guide you and hold your hand through the end of the track list. And it does.
This didn't do it.
It does nothing of that. Like, there's no diversity. Like, to a point where it makes sense to be diverse with a track list. Like, there's no direction. Like, what do you even want to be diverse on?
Yeah.
It's just,
anyways,
it's a mind fuck at the end of the day. But listen,
let's move on to the instant replay now. So,
are you bumping this album? Let me be straight with you.
Honestly, I might go through it one or two more times just for the laughs.
Yeah,
because I love witnessing a nice train wreck. Like, honestly, that's one thing.
Oh, that's horrible.
But even for movies, like if a movie's like really bad, it amuses me. I really like seeing when something goes so wrong, and I feel like the fact that Logic probably intended this to not sound that great makes me want to listen and have more fun with it. So,
wow, that's
my take on that.
Jeez, that's vicious. But salute to you, Lou. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a bad rating here just because I don't think I'm ever revisiting this.
You're never gonna play it ever again.
No, absolutely
Why not?
It's a waste of my time.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a waste of my time. It's as simple as that. Like, I'm not revisiting like Logic's catalog and going to this. I'm going to No Pressure. I'm going to Under Pressure. I'm going to The Incredible True Story. I'll even do a mixtape run on that.
First Bobby Tarantino for sure.
All great projects, and then you get to this and you're like, what the fuck did he just deliver? So at the end of the day, like, there's really nothing else to talk about. This album was bad.
It was a bad album.
A bad overall rating. There's no way anyone could sit here and tell me that this was a good project from start to finish, even if you're a Logic
But
fan,
guys, honestly, we are curious. Let us know if there's any songs at all that you actually enjoyed, because like I said, for myself, it was fun to listen to just because of all the trolling and all of the cringy bars. But as an overall experience, it's obviously not going to be regarded with the better projects of the year. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. But we will be taking you guys through every major release that comes out this year. So if you enjoyed the review, stick around for more, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you for watching the video. It's always a pleasure doing content for you guys. Listen, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because we're doing album reviews, and we actually have our series called Everything We Know, where we take you guys through the whole album rollout of the hottest releases of the year. Not only that, guys, but our Patreon plan is now live. You guys can access that in the bio. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.